morality, self-control, and sound knowledge. Then next Swaha is in short, let me and my followers strictly adhere to the principles of Dharma and to constantly remind us. So by oblation of to Agni with the unique and respective facility of this mantra. So it says Devi Medha, that Medha Devi, the personification of intellect. One might be Rishi, an outstanding Veda Brahmana, one well equipped with the attaining Brahma Jnana, but at the same time he be endowed with the fortune and materialistic fulfillment too. Next, Anuvaka says, we seek Indra Deva to bestow Medha or intellect and acumen. May Devi Saraswati, the personification of knowledge, may the two Ashwini Kumaras to generate intelligence. May Apsara, the celestial angels of dance, and Gandharva, the classical singers of music, as also the seat of high intellect to bestow Medha or brain power of Vedic lore of fragrance that spreads far and wide aplenty. We beseech Devi Medha to arrive with fragrance and happiness and establish herself as the with critical and analytical sharpness and imprinted golden Vedic syllables and stanzas besides bestowing favorable nourishment of milk with health and lasting wealth. And last Anuvaka says the worship Agni Deva to render Medha unending link to excellent progny, uh, virility and brilliance of Vedic knowledge. May Surya Deva bless me with Medha, well read progny and physical courage and energy to destroy malignant forces, prayers to turn away death but bestow longevity, sinlessness, and wealth. So this is about Medha Sutta. It says like this: Om Medha Devi Jushamana Aga Advishwachi Bhadra Sumanasyamana Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Dhuruktaan Brahadvadema Vidate Suviraha Tvaya Jushta Rishirбhavati Devi Tvaya Brahma Gata Shri Rutatvaya Tvaya Jushtaschitram Vindate Vasu Sano Jushasva Dravino Namedhe Medham Indro Tadatu Medham Devi Saraswati Medham me Ashvina Ubhava Dhattam Pushkarasraja Apsara Suchaya Medha Gandharveshu Chayanmanaha Daivi Medha Saraswati Samam Medha Surabhirjushata Bhaswaha Amam Medha Surabhir Vishwarupa Hiranyavarna Jagati Jagamya Urjaswati Payasa Pinvamana Samam Medha Supratika Jushantam Mayi Medham Mayi Prajam Mayi Agnistejo Dadhatu Mayi Medham Mayi Prajam Mayi Indra Indriyam Dadhatu Mayi Medham Mayi Prajam Mayi Suryo Brajo Dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Krishnarpanamastu.
Good, thank you, Bhatt.
This is the first sloka I learned 15 years ago.
Good. Very nice. Okay, so today the topic I wanted to cover was on Samadhi,
Samadhi, okay.
without which all that what we have learned is of no use. Yeah. So From today onwards, I think we have had enough of theory. There is, I was looking back for the last 4 years, we have mastered on theory.
Yes.
There is nothing more to learn or nothing more to discuss or debate or look at which shloka is what and which book says what. So that we have completed. So what we need to do is attain samadhi. So there are two paths of samadhi. One, we can take Patanjali if we are okay with Patanjali, or you can take Viveka Chudamani to attaining samadhi. For both of these samadhis, the primary qualification is to either have the sadhana chatushtaya if we are taking path of Shankara, or yama niyama if we are taking Patanjali. But in both the cases, while we uh, work out on removal of defilements or removal of kleshas, the samadhi also has to get established. Both have to be done in parallel. So it's like you take a scissor and you start cutting. With one, you cannot cut, but two. So you require samadhi and also you require the theory what we have learned also. Both have to go together. Then manana is going to happen. Once manana happens properly, then nididhyasana automatically happens. Meaning we will be experiencing all that what has been indicated in the various shlokas what we have covered, either Bhagavad Gita or Yoga Taravali or Patanjali Yoga Sutra or Viveka Chudamani, or whatever we have taken, including Aparokshanabhuti. So that's a primary aim of doing it. So when we look at Samadhi, there are three things what we need to look at. One is a formal method where you disconnect everything and you sit for hours together, observing the breath. That should be done. Then the second is to observe what is happening at that point in time when we see an object or when we hear something or taste something, touch something, smell something. What is really happening? What is that I'm taking out of it? The second thing I need to do. And the third thing is to have Vairagya uh, developed, like what Patanjali says, is that coming out of craving is Vairagya. And what uh, Shankaracharya says on Vairagya is that not associating with Vishaya. That is exactly what even Bhagavad Gita talk about. So this is what we need to be doing if we are wanting to progress. If we are wanting to say that, okay, now I need to go from this level to the next level. So that is how we need to develop. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't be discussing the theory topic. We can continue doing what we are doing, but not lead into any experiences because we are just looking into the same thing again and again and again. I think this is the third time we have come into the Viveka Chudamani and the second time into the same kind of shlokas. And most of the questions have been the same. There's no difference in questions, or there's no difference I'm finding between what we used to talk and what we are talking today. It's been the same. So this changeover, like what we were discussing last week, that we were looking at the chitta and buddhi and ahankara and manas. We should be able to see that distinctly, meaning the light should be seen, number one. That's the light of consciousness. And that falls on the light which is reflecting, which is chitta. Now, whatever it reflects, it has colors. So as far as we have colors, so long is the distortion. the vrittis are going to remain. As long as the vritti remain, there is no mukti. Vritti and mukti don't go together. And to that extent, we will be uh, having a, what I can say, this ahankara developed. Because it's not a mistake of ahankara, to be honest. So it is the wrong thing to say that I don't want to be egoistic or I don't have an ego. Both are seemingly a wrong way of looking. So what are we trying to do in life is that we are trying to cut out ego, which is impossible. It cannot be done. No matter how much we effectively try it or how much we convince ourselves that I can cut out ego, it is not going to happen. Because you cannot cut out ego, it's part of the chitta itself. That means you cannot cut out chitta unless you're dead. So it's a foolish attitude to say that let me work out on my ego. Not possible. So ego is going to remain. As long as chittas remain, ego is going to remain. But if chittas don't exist, then you don't exist. Both are the same thing. So then, what is the practice?
Continue. I think there's a problem in your audio system. It
No,
echoes.
no. 1 minute. I'll try to mute.
I think as soon as she entered, no, it changed. Earlier it was okay.
It's okay. Now I have put it on mute.
Oh, okay. It's fine now. Yeah.
So what is the practice we need to do in entering samadhi? Whether it is savikalpa samadhi or nirvikalpa samadhi or sabija samadhi or nirbija samadhi, whichever way we are trying to coin that out, is to remove the kleshas from the chitta. You cannot remove the klesha from the ahankara. You cannot remove kleshas from the buddhi. You cannot remove kleshas from the manas. Not possible. So the first experience, what we should have, all of us, is to see what is chitta, what is buddhi, what is ahankara, and what is manas. There are four different instruments per se. They are not anywhere related. Meaning the chitta is not related to buddhi at all. Buddhi is one thing and chitta is another thing. And buddhi is not related to ahankara. And ahankara is not related to manas. So the day we experience this, a beautiful, what I can say, an insight will show what is a chitta, what is a buddhi, and what is ahankara, and what is manas. And that day you will come to see that you are not any one of these four. Because you are able to see all the four exist because of you. And that day you experience Brahman. So if the quest through knowledge, through jnana, is to attain Brahman, then you need to see chitta separate, buddhi separate, ahankara separate, manas separate. All the four should be seen separately. Presently, as we see, all the four are same. No matter how much we try to cheat ourselves that no, I can understand, I can do this, it's not going to work. So we need to enter into samadhi. And to enter into samadhi, the first thing we need to do is put either yama and niyama. If I am follower of Patanjali, if I am follower of Shankaracharya, need to establish the sadhana chatushtaya. Now, who has to implement it is the question. It is the buddhi which has to be used. Simple. The first eye is the buddhi. That's the only eye which is available right now. So there are two eyes. One eye which is ahankara, which is closely associated with manas, the faculty which reproduces the result or shows the result or throws out the image, but it is sentient. It means it can feel. The difference between the TV screen and my manas is that the my exists in the manas itself. It becomes my manas, and I can feel. There's a feeling, and I can also perceive. That means manas can independently feel and perceive. Like when you go to sleep, the dream state is the feeling created by the mind, independent of chitta, independent of ahankara, independent of buddhi. It's an independent thing at that point in time. Meaning, you can't sit and say, I will dream this, I will dream that, I will bring in this, I'll bring in that. No, it plays on its own. It's an independent recording system. It just plays. But that is dependent on the chitta. However, it can play itself. Okay? So that is the dream state. In the waking state, the senses are also there. So I can sense this person sitting is Ranjini and that person is Bhatt and this person is Lata and I'm in office and all that is in a waking state, not awakened state. It's just a waking state. So it's as deluding as the sleep, as the dream state. So now the magic here is what doesn't exist, exist. Meaning, no matter how much I convince myself that Lata doesn't exist and Bhatt doesn't exist, Ranjini doesn't exist, my home doesn't exist, and my wife doesn't exist, it is an intellectual vomiting. Nothing else will change. Because the chittas carry Ranjini, carry Bhatt, and carry Lata, carry wife, carry house, carry everything. Not going to work. It's never worked and will never work also. So, what they found out, or whomever we call as sages, or whomever we call as a Siddha or a Siddha Purusha, they found out it is not possible to control manas in this way. Not possible. So you have to go somewhere, sit and observe the breath, calm the breath, which then cuts the indriyas. And when the indriyas are cut, the Vishaya is automatically cut. And when Vishaya Asakti goes away, then Manas becomes an individual entity. Now it can be tamed because all the 5 strands are cut. Now what happens is that using Buddhi, I can stop the projection on the screen. Then the Chitta is easy to be handled using the Buddhi. So when I stop projecting on the screen, the Ahankara automatically switches off because it requires a screen. Now I need to concentrate only on the Chitta. This is what is the Vijnanamaya Kosha is supposed to be doing, but it is distorted. So using Buddhi alone, you can change everything. So at present, my Buddhi is Panda Buddhi. Right. So it requires practice. Now what practice? To undo all that has been done through proper introspection. Like, if I were not to be married, I wouldn't have had a wife. This is an intellectual. But now you have to go deeper into it and deeper into it and deeper into it till you get your marriage invitation card. It's a card. There was no girl there or a boy there, just a card. Now you have to do a homa where you burn the card permanently. Then the chitta become purified. It will not have wife anymore. Then kill or destroy or create death for son, daughter, house, money, all that. So when you see that person, you don't know who they are, because that's a reality. They are nobody. So this should happen in the chitta. So once the chitta is pure, then the chitta automatically drops the buddhi. And with the buddhi dropping away, there is no mind left. Now it has only two, chitta and chit. Now the true nature of chit is Ananda Swarupa. So you are Ananda. So now you are Satchidananda Swarupam Shivoham Shivo. And now you can stay in Brahman forever. This is the process. You can do it in two directions. One is with the deity or with whatever you want to have. That is Savikalpa Samadhi. So you need to put a higher thing. Let us say I love Krishna. Krishna is higher than me, for sure. He is more purer than me. So I'm going to have attributes of Krishna developed in me to an extent that I myself is Krishna. If I do that, then the ego will not be there, because the manas, that screen, is not there. The chittas get the fear. The death is the fear. So you have to kill these chittas which keep on coming back, saying that you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a daughter, you have a son, you have a job, you have this, you have that. That has to be removed. So now I use buddhi, I in the sense, the buddhi itself. There's nobody other than the buddhi. When I say I, the smaller I is the buddhi. Or like what Lata says, subtle I, whatever you want. That buddhi has a cutting faculty. It cuts. Knowledge cuts ignorance. So the ignorance here is I have wife. Knowledge is you never had a wife. So it has to cut. When it cuts, the chuti happens at the chitta. Those images, that is, I got married on so and so date, so and so time, so and so thing. The father-in-law is so and so, mother-in-law is so and so, my father was so and so, my mother was so and so. All of that is completely cut. Like you take a scissor, you have that reel, photo reel. You take cut on one side, you have seen, this is where my marriage starts, or the girl whom I know starts, and this is where it ends. And you throw it out. Now the chittas have another beauty. The moment you cut, they join back. Which one? So what you cut and what it is, just like what we do in computer, exactly the same thing. You can cut that much of the image and it's permanently gone. There's no storage. It's removed. Now you're so light. Now you might ask me a question. So that means when this person comes, you will not recognize it as a wife. Absolutely not. But conventionally, do you still consider her to be wife or he to be husband? Yes. That is the beauty of chitta. It can be a destroyer, it can also be a savior. It can do dual role. Destroyer in the sense of moving from this life to next life to next life. So achyuta, if you want to have, you should cut the chuti. Just by saying achyuta, ananta, that's not going to work. And just by saying that is not going to work unless I do some effort to cut it. So if I am ananta, I have to remove the anta, then it becomes ananta. If I am anta, there's no way, how much ever I pray to God saying that God, you are my savior, please make me ananta, not going to. Same thing with chuti. I can say achyuta, achyuta, achyuta. Chuti is going to be there unless I cut. Then I see deathless. So there's no death because that light has no death. This light has death. The reflection has death. Original has no death. First, I have to kill the manas. This is the practice. So you have to do samadhi. Now there are two steps of samadhi. One step of samadhi is observing the breath. Another step of samadhi is om or whatever you want to. So hum, whatever method, hum so can be many methods. Or like what Ranjini is trying to make Rama as Rama, Rama, whatever way. So if we use Rama or this or that, it gets into Savikalpa, which is far better because all the chittas will then carry Rama. It will help in dropping off the husband and children, house, property, mother, father, brother, sister, including one's own identity. So that is surrender, self surrender. The chitta has now surrendered to that. This is one way. Then the next way, through jnana, meaning you take buddhi, you in the sense just to conventional, there's no you there. The buddhi takes itself and reflects upon, did I ever have this? Like an example, I have a house. What's the proof that I own a house? So now I come out of the house. Now where is the house? There's no house. So then what I do? What is that which is identifying that I have a house? It's only the paper. What if the paper are burnt? Then I don't have a house. What if the body is represented as a wife is burnt? I don't have a wife. What if the body which is represented as a son is burnt? Then I don't have a son. What if the house I'm staying gets burnt due to short circuit or whatever it is? There is no my house. What if this body itself get burnt? There is no I. If I practice this, death will happen. That's samadhi. This is nirvikalpa, no imagination. and I need to practice it all the time. If I can do it, then I put Shankaracharya's method. All the 5 koshas are understood. So when we start, we should know clearly all the 4 separately. Chitta is separate, Buddhi is separate, Ahankara is separate, Manas is separate. They are no way related. And where this raga comes, it comes in the chitta. And who enjoys the raga? It is the Ahankara. Who showcases the raga? It is the mind, it is the screen. So I had asked Lata to give some feedback about me few days ago. So she gave me some good feedback that my animation has increased. Okay. So we had one meeting. So in that meeting, she was observing. That's the reason I had asked her to observe. And I'm also asking both of you to observe. I don't know whether you observe or not. You start an observation, you're closer to getting into Jnana Marga. If you cannot observe, that means you are not yet ready for Jnana Marga, because Jnana Marga's first basic thing is to observe. On observing the activities which are happening in the face or in the body or in wherever or however, wherever it is happening. So you need to check, keep on checking every person's, whomever we meet, interact. You see, anyway, so as per that, he was telling me about I have animation. So then I was reflecting on why this animation. This animation is coming where? What is the source of animation? The source of animation is the vasana. Now, what vasana have I stored? I have stored the vasana of my previous organization. Same questions like what Lata had asked, somebody else had asked me. And immediately it came into the chitta from the memory. Along with that came all the things. That is how I used to answer, how it used to work out, how I used to show that I am proficient in agile, all that came. The poor chap who was sitting next to me stopped his talk, but my voice also increased along with the animation. So then, after the discussion was over, I was reflecting. What was my need to go and say this? Okay, so now, if I really reflect back, meaning I observe, so the vasanas came into the chitta's information, all of this dirt is a dirt actually, came into the buddhi. Buddhi is not having viveka at all, aviveki, because it could not discriminate between that experience in 2007 or 8 or whenever and 2022 experience. What was stored there got into here. So if I had stopped, that means if the buddhi had stopped that flow by observing the breath, this problem wouldn't have come. Lata wouldn't be able to say that you are animating. Right. So now it flow. If it flows, where it has to flow? It has to flow to Ahankara. Now it comes to life. There was no vilas, but because it is sentient, it can sense. So the chitta can put life into a lifeless, which is buddhi, and the buddhi will know what to do, what not to do, because it can perceive everything, because it is associated with that light, chitta. And chitta is associated with the chit, the original light. It brings to life. So what brings to life has to make something animation. that comes on the screen is manas. When it comes on the screen, it will take the object, which is the body. So it shows up. So even though if I tell to Tata that I was not animating, and she will say, okay, you don't want to accept, fine. Yeah, I think you were not animating, but the body was animating. And say, yeah, you are right. But actually seeing it is a vasana which has come into the chitta has moved into the buddhi, and the buddhi has come into the ahankara, and ahankara has come in. And manas, when it comes, it appears entirely on the body. It will take everything. If the anger comes, anger is there in the vasana, and the vasana will then. Now what I need to do is, it should not cross beyond the Vijnanamaya kosha. If it crosses beyond Vijnanamaya kosha, it will get into the Manomaya kosha. Then it will get into Pranamaya kosha. Then it will come into Annamaya kosha. And it is displayed. So nobody can hide their emotions because it becomes display. But that person might say, no, I don't feel that. Okay, that's fair. So who is modifying that? The buddhi is modifying it. The buddhi knows what has happened. Then who regrets? The buddhi. Who gets into guilt consciousness? Buddhi. Because it knows it should have stopped. It had the ability of stopping, but it could not. So now it reflects back. I shouldn't have done it. But the chittas are gone. Now it can't do anything. It has to wait for the next set of the same chitta to arrive, which will arise. It requires a situation. It requires that condition. The condition arrives in the vasana. The vasanas are there. Since I am habituated, exactly react the same way. And buddhi has been tuned like that. And my reaction would be the same. And again ask Lata, how was it today? And she says, Vilas, today was very good. So what do I mean by that? The vasanas I will put back to vasana that I've changed. That comes into the chitta that you have changed, but nothing has changed. And then the buddhi will say, okay, now I have got over it. Then the ahankara comes. Then again. So I will take that I have changed. There's no change actually. It's as worse as it was earlier. So now how do I remove this, what I can say, this animation is to be the I was without people. So when I do the discourses on the other channel, I don't consider any person sitting there in front of me. I told her from Tuesday onwards, I will not associate with anyone. Even though the bodies are sitting here, I know. So then what happens? I can get into Samadhi. Then it doesn't arise. So then it becomes Jnana Marga because you are able to see in reality what exists and what doesn't exist. So then we can see that illusion is removed. The mithya is removed. What is mithya? Is English word. Nearest English word is illusion, but it is not illusion. It's nothing to be illuded about or deluded about. What is satya? You distort it, becomes mithya. Example: this body is named Vilas, agreeable, but in reality there is no Vilas sitting out here. in truth, if we were to introspect and see, that is the reason Patanjali uses a very nice explanation. It's called Viparyaya. Viparyayo mithya atadrupam swarupam. So what is not there is stored, and what is there is not stored. So we need to get to this point. Then that mithya gnana, viparyayo mithya gnanam atad rupam swarupam. So atad rupam has to be made as tad rupam. What is tad rupa? Is without rupa at all. So if I apply the first principle of Viveka Chudamani, I should practice the Annamaya Kosha to the completion. Then atadrupa will not happen. Tadrupa will happen. What is tadrupa? Without food, this stinking body cannot be there. Simple. You cut the food supply to this body, the body will automatically collapse, will go out of existence. Why do I have to give food? Only for sustenance. Nothing else. It's just crossing from this place to that place. No more requirement on that. So if I really do it, then atadrupa is removed. Only tadrupa is kept. Then the vilas dies. Immediately. There is no way he can survive. Then the jnana is taken in. There's no mithya now. Only satya. Satya is what? That everybody has consciousness. This is Brahman. So this I need to really practice through Samadhi. If I can get into Samadhi by practice, so in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it gives you steps for Samadhi. The first chapter, Samadhi Pada, talks about how to get into Samadhi. Get into Samadhi, all these defilements, kleshas, can be made into Tanu. Tanu means less, use. Once it reduces, the knowledge shines. With that knowledge, which is there in the buddhi, one can remove the delusion, moha. Hence, can progress from if you take by Hindu philosophy, Pamara can get into Siddha. So, Pamara, then Chai, person getting into all kind of Vishaya. So he'll replace the worldly thing with an out of the world thing. Then he becomes Siddha Purusha. Or if we take in another way, from Moodha to Vikshipta, Kshipta, Kagrata, Niruddha. So we get into Niruddha state, where the kleshas don't arise again. You stopped it. That means the vasanas are going to exist. You cannot do anything to it. It will take you lifetime after lifetime to remove the vasana, and it might not even happen because those impressions are going to stay. Let the dirt remain. No, no. But we will cut it in such a way that it doesn't appear in the chitta. So what doesn't appear in the chitta cannot appear in the buddhi, and what doesn't appear in the buddhi cannot appear in the ahankara and doesn't appear in the manas. So what light shines, the light is coming inside from outside, is the same light which is reflected everywhere without color. And because of that, the manas is released with 5 indriya. Begin with. And when the manas is released out of 5 indriyas, it doesn't have food now. So it starves. The basic aim of spirituality is to starve the mind of the food. So once the food is removed, it dies. Once manas dies, only chittas remain. Vrittis are stopped. Then tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam happens. Because yogaha chitta vritti nirodha is seen. That is ataha yoga anushasana. That's all. Finished.
So, previous vasana comes, because of which all these organs will start, instruments starts looking at that and behaving. Cutting this previous vasana is a requirement, right? Achievement. If you cut, everything is achieved.
No, you can't cut the vasana. You can redirect that vasana into whatever you want using the buddhi.
Say, from the previous birth, there is one interest, or he is addicted to say sweet. The moment he looks at the sweet shops, he feel like eating. Now redirecting that, that is, you are now focusing somewhere else. That means you are not caring about. Even if you see the sweet shop, you are not worrying about the sweetness. Now maybe that Purandaradas, that pada, maybe from there you will start analyzing, right? That's how you are diverting.
Correct.
Or you are bringing the neutral and you are focusing on the neutrality. Your neutrality is nothing but maybe your own breath,
Yes.
or looking at that as sweet stall as some light,
No, no,
some
no.
shape.
No, no. You have to bring Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi. That one you have to bring in. That sweet is part of Brahman only.
Huh.
There's no sweet separated out. It's a padartha only. Like
Can I say
Ranjini.
like this? The sweet is whole Brahmanda is within me. Everything is there. Why
That
should
is
I go and
intellectual.
eat
No,
some
no, no,
external?
no, no, no. That is intellectual. I'll give you an example. So
Ah,
Saturday, Ranjini had come with their families. My friend and her family were there. So they had brought gulab jamun. Yep. So should I eat or shouldn't I eat? You tell
should
me
eat.
now,
You should eat.
right?
But
And
no connection.
pardon?
But no, you are not eating because of addiction. You are eating because it is
No, no,
there.
wait. That becomes again, it goes back to intellectual. So let's answer to this question. Vasana is there, right? So she prepared gulab jamun. My wife also had prepared gulab jamun. So we had around more than 40 gulab jamuns in total from two families taken together. Okay. And by today, none of the gulab jamuns are there. It's all exhausted. Anyway, coming back to this point, is that now they prepared and we prepared. So we have 40 gulab jamun. Question comes, is the sweet in gulab jamun or gulab jamun is in the sweet or both are mithya? That is the Kanakadasa's way of questioning,
Yes.
right? So you need to bring that. When you distinctly observe, there is no gulab jamun there.
Hmm.
Gulab jamun is a nama. Is there any rupa of gulab jamun? No. Is there any taste of gulab jamun? Also no. What you taste is sugar, syrup, but you will not taste gulab jamun, no matter how many you eat. So where is the vasana? Not in the sweet, in the gulab jamun. What does the chitta carry? Gulab jamun. What does the buddhi says? Eat few gulab jamun. And the definition of few depends on the taste. So they had initially put 4. I'll I like gulab jamun means the vasana will come back and say I'm not satisfied.
Take one more.
The chitta will say take. Buddhi will say, you already had 4. It's okay. No,
Yes.
today
Yes.
their friends are there. What is this you are talking about? You take another 2, 6. Then we had brought ice cream. Gulab jamun with ice cream is a good combination, right? You should have that. Who gave that combination? It's again
Anyone?
Vasana. Again Vasana. Vasana coming into Chitta. Chitta coming into Buddhi. Buddhi getting into Ahankara. Ahankara into Manas. So who ate the Gulab jamun? Manas. Who took the credit of Gulab jamun?
I.
Ahankara. Ahankara. Who allowed it to happen? Buddhi.
Buddhi.
Who got caught up in the process? Chitta.
Chitta.
So who is going to die? Chitta. Nothing is going to happen for other 3 instruments. They don't have anything to do with it. A new TV will come, along with that, and new Buddhi will come, and new Ahankara will come. But the Chitta is the one which will be caught red-handed. By whom? By Brahman. He is seeing. Now
Yeah.
what I should do? I in the sense Buddhi, should investigate, is gulab jamun in the sweet or sweet in the gulab jamun, or both the sweet and the gulab jamun is in the tongue. It's in the tongue. There is no gulab jamun there. There is no sweet also. If I do at that instant, then there is no gulab jamun savored by that at all. Then it is mukti. So Ranjini got gulab jamun, true. That dabba went into the kitchen is also true. Then they gave gulab jamun is also true. But when I ate, no gulab jamun.
What did you eat?
Nothing.
But you will say with happy face, nice one.
No, you are always happy. Now here is the conditioned happiness. If the gulab jamun is good, you will feel happy. If gulab jamun is not good, you will say, yeah, it is fine, but it could have been better. Can you define better? No. But that is in my vasana. The first time I ate gulab jamun, that is recorded.
See, to Ranjini's family, you are expressing that Gulam Jamun is good. Because that is the minimum thing we should do when somebody brings something home.
Need not be.
Appreciation for the you see it's a love, flow of love, right? I
No,
cannot be
no,
like
no, no, no.
stone
It
in
is a
front of them.
transaction. It is a transaction. She brought gulab jamun. It's my duty to say it is good. But there is nothing other than that out there. There's nothing called love there.
See, before when you eat, you should immediately let's say humanity. You have to immediately express. If you are not expressive, you are like stone. That is what is considered. It is independent of
Fair,
that.
fair. It is
Ah,
fair. So
yeah.
now
During
you
that
are,
time, what happens is important inside.
no, the fair thing is fair. Let them think you're a stone. That is far better than pretension and say, it is very good. Excellent. But I have got nothing to
No,
do.
you really liked it. Then you will say, yes,
Now the
now here
liking.
there is no like dislike. I have understood.
So
No like
now
dislike.
So now what should happen is there is no gulab jamun at all. Somebody asked me, did you eat gulab jamun? Conventionally speaking, it is a name thing. Yeah, I had. How was the taste? Sweet. It is sweet only, no?
It was
So,
good.
no, it is sweet. There is nothing called good or bad.
So you will not say that it is good facial expression.
No, she never asked me on Saturday. Either I told her. No, I can't build something which never happened. because we were so deeply discussing other topic. This gulab jamun eating never
See,
came up.
you are in Atmananda, okay, not because of gulab jamun, even otherwise, sahaja. And gulab jamun is there, whether it is sweet or it is not sweet, you will say smiling. They will be happy with you, no?
That's all. So you are genuinely smiling. You are. I'm not
Ah, genuinely
smiling.
smiling.
So
That love is not because of gulab jamun. There is no
gulab
transaction
jamun or
here.
no
You
gulab
are
jamun.
above that.
Yes. Yesterday she again sent some curry or something. So from their home, so many things are coming everyday basis. So it is very good for me. Okay. So we are experiencing new food out there, but I ate. No complaints. It was good only. There cannot be anything bad. It entered the stomach and there ended the matter. So the taste, whatever it was supposed to taste, was tasting. Then the vasanas are taken care. But vasanas will not go away. This is one
Yeah.
thing you have to be clear. You are draining out the vasanas, but you cannot remove the vasana. You cannot say that, oh, let me remove these vasanas. Those impressions are going to be there, but you are not caring about those, which will not enter into chitta, and that doesn't enter into the whole system.
Okay, I will ask one question. Maybe tomorrow you can respond.
Yes.
Now you have kept your gold, very important items there. She liked it. She will take it away. What will happen to you? Tomorrow we'll discuss.
Nothing is going to happen. If there is a gold,
Tomorrow, because this is also I want analysis something similar to Jamun.
okay, fine then. 929, yeah, we'll take.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Absolutely fine. Okay,
Yeah,
done with
thank
it.
you.
And
Bye.
Gulab Jamun was good,
It was a
Ranjan.
good example. Yeah.
So every day we are hearing the account of what Ranjini has given to Vilas.
I, so she is giving lot of Guru Dakshina. So her husband had a thigh pain. Okay, so I did something and he said, okay, how is he feeling today?
Yeah, he's much better. He says the pain is there, but very less. That's what I asked him. From 1,000, how much has it come down to? He said about 20. I said, good. So only 2% is remaining.
Okay, so he had a pain which I removed, or I don't know what I did. I can't say I removed. So I was telling her, energy is not mine. So she wanted to ask me what he should give or do whatever. So then he has an iPhone and he has some other charger, Mac charger or whatever it is. I was telling, okay, you give me that iPhone itself. As a Guru Dakshina, because if he had gone to a therapy center, they would have charged every sitting, they would have charged around 5,000. 4 sittings is 20,000. So minimum they should give me is 20,000, and they didn't give me anything actually. So, so she seriously she wanted to give something. I said, energy is not mine. If something is not mine, I can't claim anything on it. So I felt like doing to your husband, and did it. And he's my friend also. Was wriggling in pain. I was able to see it. Where exactly is the pain? Remove the pain out of his leg or his thigh. Basically, some more remains. If he comes for another 2 sitting, not be there. And their daughters also have some pain, so I'm going to do that. But there's nothing called charging it, or I did this, so you do that for me. It becomes a transaction then. I do something and they say, Ranjini, I did it, so what next? Can you give me something? Yes, you tell me what you had to give. Then I go to their home and I see their showcase. I need that. I need this. Whatever. That looks out of my. So I told her, you don't have to gift me so many. Every time I come, you give me a coconut or an apple or a banana. Thing is required. Because all those are not really required. The pain is gone. Good. That I was able to come to somebody's help in this life. That is the best thing rather than collecting something. And what will I do? That if he gave me 4 coconuts, you have to prepare something out of it and again put it in this dustbin. So from their dustbin, it comes to this dustbin now. It was better off in their home, actually. So nothing to be given to me, to be honest. No gifting, no buying something for me, nothing is required. If
I
somebody,
very clearly asked you, Vilas, I have more than 20 coconuts. Can I please, if you don't
no,
mind?
I don't want to say no. I'm not blaming you. I cannot say no. See,
Correct.
anything somebody gives, I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yes also. See,
Correct.
it's like you are saying,
I have
look,
to join another meeting. See you
carry on.
all. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, bye
Bye.
bye. So it's not that you should not give or you should give. You are putting me in a spot and saying that, look, I want to give this to you. If I say no, it becomes wrong because you want to give. It's not I want to take. If it is bad on my part, I'd come to your home and say that, Ranjini, you have this.
But has joined a meeting where I have to join. So he has started. So let me go.
Okay, then
Okay.
we will drop it tomorrow. We'll
Bye.
discuss.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste.